Daughter's revenge against her mother. There might be the stereotype about Asian families, including Japanese, that parents attach importance to the education, academic background of their children. They force their children to study hard. Stereotypes never apply to everyone, but that stereotype is almost true. Parents' strictness can lead to a good result but also a bad result. And in today's case, it led to not just a bad result, it resulted in tragedy. Then let's look at the case of Nozomi Kiryu. This is the case of Nozomi Kiryu. Today's story starts from Shiga Prefecture, Japan. It was 2018, and today's main person, Kiryu Nozomi, a 31 years old woman, was living in Shiga Prefecture. Quickly, I will explain about Shiga. Shiga Prefecture is located near Osaka Prefecture. In Shiga, there are some landmarks like Biwako, the biggest lake in Japan, and a big castle of one of the most famous samurai in Japanese history, and many Buddhist temples and so on. More tourists visit the neighboring prefectures like Osaka, Kyoto rather than Shiga, but I really recommend you to visit there. It's a really nice place. Well, enough about touring. Let's get back to today's case. Kiryu Nozomi was born in Moriyama City, Shiga Prefecture. She was a single child and was taken care of by her mother with a lot of love. But her love actually cannot be considered as love. As I mentioned earlier, quite a few Japanese parents attach great importance to the academic background of their children, so they try to get their children to enroll in one of the most prestigious universities. They force their children to study a lot, hard, and Nozomi's mother was one of these parents. Nozomi's mother really wanted Nozomi to enroll in medical university. In Japan, or maybe in your country too, the med university is the most competitive and difficult faculty to enroll in. Many applicants who failed the entry exam try to pass the next year's exam again and again, and they repeat the exam year after year with a hope to pass it. Even quite a few of them end up giving up after several years' tries. But once you pass the exam, then you're part of the elites. Nozomi's mother wanted this. She wanted her child to be an elite medical student and would become a doctor. So from Nozomi's childhood, her mother made an extreme effort to make Nozomi study. The mother restricted Nozomi's freedom, made a study schedule for her, and made Nozomi study hard. Even presents she was given by her mother in childhood, like birthday presents and so on, were almost textbooks. By the way, where is Nozomi's father? Actually, there is not much information about her father, but it's said that her father worked as a salaryman and was separately living in the company's dormitory. That's why Nozomi lived only with her mother. Nozomi was studying hard to meet her mother's expectations, but as she got on to junior high school, her grades were dropping, and her wish to become a doctor was also fading out. In 2005, she graduated high school. She took an entry exam to medical university the first time, but she failed. However, her mother lied to their relatives, saying, "My daughter Nozomi passed the exam for medical university," and forced Nozomi to lie too. And her mother continuously forced Nozomi to study and take exams every year for a total of 9 years. Each year, Nozomi failed and studied hard again for the next chance. From year to year, the control over Nozomi was getting stronger. She remade her study schedule for Nozomi from early morning to late night. In order to manage all Nozomi's time, the mother forced her to take a bath together with her. Nozomi attempted to escape from her mother 3 times, but her mother always reported her disappearance to the police. Nozomi was always taken back to home, and under this harsh pressure by her mother, Nozomi continued this life of studying for the entry exam for 9 years, but eventually couldn't pass the exam. After Nozomi's 9 years of effort, her mother finally allowed Nozomi to take her entry exam not for the medical department, but for a less competitive department, the nursing department. But under one condition. She insisted Nozomi not become an ordinary nurse, but become especially a bathing assistant nurse. Anyway, Nozomi could pass the exam for university. At 27 years old, she finally started her college life. For around 2 years after that, the restraint by her mother calmed down. Nozomi had the best period in her life for these 2 years. They seemed to be in a good relationship. But the situation changed in Nozomi's second year of university. She failed to pass an exam for going on the course of bathing assistant nurse, which Nozomi was forced to promise to become by her mother. Her mother got mad again. Then she began controlling Nozomi again. But then, precisely speaking from the beginning, Nozomi didn't want to become a bathing assistant nurse. It was originally her mother's wish. She would be happy to become just a nurse, and in 2017, she actually passed the exam for becoming a nurse and got a job in a hospital. But her mother didn't approve of her becoming an ordinary nurse. She still insisted on her daughter becoming a bathing assistant nurse. She even made her sign a written oath so that she would become a bathing assistant nurse. It was terrible. Moreover, several months later, the mother found that Nozomi had her own smartphone and mother became more outraged. She broke the smartphone in front of Nozomi and abused her. Nozomi was just bearing that. On January 19, 2018, as a paperwork for the job at the hospital would be only a week away, Nozomi finally ventured to express her wish to become a nurse and work at the hospital. But her mother outraged, saying like this: "I am always plunged into the depths of despair because you persistently try to get your way." She was mad and continued to shout all night. Through that night, Nozomi was bearing how her mother was behaving crazy as usual. But then, Nozomi's patience finally reached the boiling point. Before they go to the bed, Nozomi said to her mother, "I will massage you." And while she was massaging her mother, Nozomi stabbed her mother's neck multiple times with her hidden knife, and her mother died. After killing her mother, Nozomi tweeted briefly, "I knocked down a monster. It's a relief." After completing her final task, which was killing her mother, she began casually watching TV series, which she wasn't allowed to do until then. After that, she went to the river to hide the corpse of her mother. 2 months later, the murderer's corpse was found and the investigation began. In that period, Nozomi normally spent time working as a nurse at a hospital, but police became suspicious of Nozomi because although neighbors said they haven't seen Nozomi's mother for a while, Nozomi didn't report the mother's disappearance to the police. And June 5, 2018, Nozomi was arrested. On the trial, Nozomi denied that she killed her mother and claimed that the murderer committed suicide. But anyway, the case was considered a murder, and Nozomi was sentenced to 15 years of imprisonment. In the end of the first trial, the Chief Justice told Nozomi, "You have been forced to live a life which your mother wished you to live. But from now on, please live your life." After that, when she was detained in jail, she repeatedly read judgment over and over again. And she recalled the words the Chief Justice told her. She told her attorney that she would confess everything at an appeal trial. And an appeal trial began. Not like at the first trial, at the appeal trial, she confessed that she killed her mother. At the court, she recalled and said that until the first trial, she had thought anyone would not understand her, but at the first trial, she felt that the judges understood her, listening to her comment at the end of the trial. That's why she decided to tell the truth at the appeal trial. At the appeal trial, she told everything what she was done by her mother, like that she was often abused by her mother with violent words, especially when she failed in entry exams, that her smartphone was taken away and it was broken by her mother, and that she was made to apologize to her and so on. Finally, partly because judges were sympathetic, the chief judge sentenced her to a lighter punishment. Her imprisonment term was shortened from 15 years to 10 years. At the end of the trial, the chief told Nozomi one was again, "From now on, you need to make your way by yourself. In the future, you may struggle with various troubles, but don't give up. Live the way you decide, and that will make you rehabilitated." Nozomi, listening to his words, quietly nodded and cried bitterly. She is now being detained in a jail in Osaka. According to the interview to her, she mentioned, "It's way easier and more comfortable to live in a jail rather than living with my mother, cause in a jail I am not scolded or abused as long as I normally live." And asked by interviewer about how she could have not caused this case, she said, "Looking back on the past, I suppose that at that time I definitely needed help. but I couldn't ask for help. I couldn't come up with an idea to ask for help. I couldn't notice that I was treated and educated in a bad way. If I could have noticed that my mother's education was wrong, I might be different. What I've done cannot be undone, but I want to continue to share this case to other people so that it will become an opportunity for those who are now struggling with similar situations to notice that they are in a bad situation and to escape from it. This case shows parents' education can have good and bad effects for children, and it can lead to a tragedy. And this case reminded me that quite few Japanese children are living under huge pressure caused by their parents who became monster parents. And also it reminded me that those monster parents are produced in part by Japanese society in which an educational background counts. And this type of society causes a lot of problems. It causes fierce competition in exams, and the competition causes more and more children to participate in that competition. It restricts children's freedom. It makes children feel anxiety. What Nozomi did to her mother was never justified. But how do you deal with that situation if you are strongly forced to live as others wish you to live? Please share your thoughts about this case. And I would be happy if you like this video. And if you liked it, please subscribe to my channel and hit the like button. Thank you. See you in the next video.